Good evening, children. Today I am going to read the story named The Vinegar Bottle. There was once an old woman who lived in a vinegar bottle. Now that's really uncomfortable. Imagine living in a bottle. Oh my God. That's the bottle, okay? That's the lid of the bottle. And this is the little cutout where she's cut out and put a window there. Okay. She was very unhappy. Of course, anybody would be unhappy living in a vinegar bottle. Dear me, she cried. How tired I am of living in this vinegar bottle. If only I lived in a little cottage in the country with a cow to give me nice, fresh, creamy milk. Then I would be really happy. Now, while she was wishing for this, a very kind and a gentle fairy flew by. And she heard the old woman and she took pity on her and decided to grant her the wish. Just then, a fairy was flying by. She heard what the old woman said. I will make your wish come true. She smiled and she waved her wand. At once, the old woman found herself in a dear little cottage. Dear means very loving, nice. There was a brown cow outside chewing the grass. There she is. Let's call her Susie. Okay, Susie the cow. Thank you, fairy. Oh, you're so kind, my dear lady. Now I shall be really happy. A week later, the fairy went to see the old woman. Instead of welcoming the fairy with a smile for granting her such a lovely wish, look at the old woman grumbling. Oh, fairy, she cried, how unhappy I am living in here all alone. If only I had a house in the city, like Mumbai, with lot of pee-pee, poo-poo, chatter-patter of people, where I could meet lots of people. Then I would be happy. Very well. I will make your wish come true, dear woman, said the kind fairy. And she waved her magic wand, murmuring the words, abracadabra, gilly-gilly-choo, let the old woman get her wish come true. At once, the old woman found herself in a fine house in the city. There were lots of people going up and down, cars, buses, trucks, auto rickshaws, bikes. Ooh, so much noise. Thank you, fairy. You're so kind. I love you for granting me this wish. Now I shall really be happy. A week later, oh my God, look at the woman's hands. She's covering her ears. After a week, the fairy went to see the old woman, expecting a cup of coffee from her. But instead, oh, fairy, she cried, how unhappy I am. The city's so noisy. There's so much pollution. My ears are hurting. If only I lived in a quiet house by the sea. Should we say Carter Road or Juhu? Then I would be happy. Very well. Fairy is getting a bit irritated now. I will make your wish come true. Abracadabra, gilly-gilly-choo, said the fairy, and she waved her wand. At once, the old woman found herself in a quiet house by the sea. What a lovely house. Oh, thank you, fairy. I must tell you, you're really a very kind lady. I love you for it. A week later, the fairy went to see the old woman. There she is, angrier than before. Oh, fairy, she cried, how unhappy I am. This house is too small for me. If only I lived in a fine palace, the biggest house up on a hill, bigger than Mukesh Ambani's house. Then I would be happy. Very well, said the fairy, a bit exasperated. And she granted her the palace. Look, oh my God. A palace where the old woman would live up on the hill all by herself. Thank you, fairy. I promise you this time I'm really, really going to be happy. I love you for this, your generosity and your kindness. A week later, the fairy went to see the old woman in a palace expecting a feast. But there she was, sitting like a queen on the throne, with a grumpy face and a grumbling mouth. Oh, fairy, this palace angrily. Always grumbling, always complaining, never a word of thank you, never a cup of coffee. So there it is. No more wishes to be granted to you. And you will get back into your vinegar bottle because this is where you belong. Fairy, I'm sorry. Enough. I shall fly away, never to return again. And so, there you must stay, said the fairy angrily. And she flew away to her own little home in the forest, never to grant a wish again to her. Do you think the fairy was right? Yes, because you learn to say thank you and learn to be contented. Okay, see you next week. Bye.